Well, welcome to our Bible session. We're looking at Israel. You know, we were looking at the history of Israel. It's important to know about Israel because they are a country that is God's and His people, and the things that happens there affects us all. And it's good for us to know what's taking place there. Today, we're going to start out again looking at their history and understanding the importance of Israel's historical periods at this particular point. Now, the Holy Land is an ancient place, one of the oldest in the world, where while in the Holy Land, you'll be seeing things as old as 6,000 years. And that's old. Different periods of history is going to refer to when describing Israel's cities and holy sites and places. You know, we need to take note, I should say, of that there will be likely to be key events that have taken place in particular sites, and those are important to you and I today. You know, each event will have happened during a specific period in Israel's history. So these things that take place is important to us because it tells us a lot about what's taking place in the history and what actual part of that 6,000 years we're looking at. If you can understand the different periods a little, you'll get much more out of the experience of studying and learning of Israel. Now, the chronological time and use of archaeologists, I'll get it out, and historians, we know that the early Bronze Age was 4000 to 2000 BC, Middle Bronze Age was 2000 to 1500 BC, the Late Bronze Age was 1500 to 2000 or 1200 BC. The Iron Age 1 age was 1200 to 1000 BC, and the Iron Age 2 was 1000 to 586 BC. Now, the Canaanite period was 4000 to 1875 BC. 4000 BC, Canaanites inhabited the land that was Israel's, that Israel did move into, the land of milk and honey we spoke of. 2500 BC, Noah and the Great Flood, and 2233 BC was when we know and hear the story of Babel. And in 1960 BC, Abraham, of course, is born. And later he had moved to the land of Canaan from Ur of the Chaldees. 1875 BC, Jacob and his family moved to Egypt to live with Joseph. That's when the famine was taking place, and Joseph was second in command in Egypt. And then there was the Israelite period of 1450 to 970 BC. In 1446 BC, exodus of the Israelites from Egypt. That's when they went out to the 40 years wandering in the wilderness. 1406 BC, the nation of Israel enters the promised land. That's the land of Canaan, where they went in and took it over. In 1043 BC, King Saul became the first king of Israel, and then in 1010 to 97 BC, King David would reign. The first temple period was 970 to 586 BC. 970 to 931 BC, King Solomon reigned, golden years of the kingdom of Israel, when they prospered and did so well. 959 BC, Solomon completes the magnificent temple, the one that David wanted to build, but Solomon built it. He built the temple on the Mount Moriah in Jerusalem, the same place Abraham intended to sacrifice Isaac, we're told. In 931 BC, the kingdom of Israel divided because of Solomon's sins. Jeroboam reigned over the northern kingdom of Israel from Samaria. Rehoboam reigned over the southern kingdom of Israel from Jerusalem. In 722 BC, the Assyrians had conquered and deported most of the northern kingdom of Israel to Assyria. So here you could say that Israel, the nation, is done away with at this point, destroyed just about it. 586 BC, Babylonians had conquered Jerusalem and Judah under Nebuchadnezzar and departed most of the southern kingdom of Judah to Babylon. So there goes the nation of Israel is down. The second temple period is 538 to 444 BC. 537 BC, many Jews returned from Babylon to the rebuilding of the second temple, which began under the leadership of Zerubbabel. In 515 BC, completion and dedication of the temple. And then in 458 BC, Ezra returned to Jerusalem with a second wave of Jews and teaches all Israelites about the Bible. And in 444 BC, Nehemiah returned to Jerusalem. And what a story that is. He was a cupbearer of the king. He was returned with the king's blessings to rebuild the city walls. Now, the Hellenistic period, which is a Greek rule of 337 to 167 BC. In 337 BC, Alexander the Great defeated the Persian Empire and set out to conquer the world. And then after this sudden death in 323 BC, the Greek Empire was divided into several successor states, which was the generals of Alexander. And during this period, the Bible was translated into Greek. And of course, in 167 BC, when the Jews were prohibited from practicing Judaism, and their temple was desecrated as part of an effort to impose Greek-oriented culture and customs on the entire population of Jews revolted. First led by a priestly family, and then led by Judah, the Maccabi, the Jewish, subsequently entered Jerusalem and purified the temple. Now, this purification of the temple is commemorated by the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, 164 BC. Then the Roman period, Roman rule of 63 BC to 313 AD. 63 BC, Roman general Pompey captured Jerusalem. Pompey. 37 BC to 4 BC, Herod, Roman the king, rules the land of Israel. He enlarged the Temple Mount and rebuilt the temple. He also built other monument projects, including Caesarea and the caves of the patriarchs and Masada. There were several things that they did and changed things. So Israel was going through quite a bit. I'm going to stop there and we'll take off from there because we're out of time. But you can see all the periods of things taking place there. A lot of things took place, a lot of changing hands, and all of these at times caused Israel to go into slavery and Jerusalem to be just about destroyed almost at times. So a lot of things took place, and it's important for us to know. We're beginning to get towards when we start rebuilding towards the future, and it's worth looking at Israel because Israel tells us a story. I mean, I see things Israel did back then that our world is doing today. So whatever they were doing, we're more apt to follow whatever they're doing. God bless, and I'll see you next time.